great adventure. Today I'm going to be telling you all about the multi-fuel stove and the kinds of fuels that you might like to use in it. And next week's video is going to be how I personally light my stove. Of course, all of these things are my opinion, and take that with a grain of salt. And they're all going to be slightly skewed because normally we're in smoke controlled areas, so if you're not in a smoke controlled area, a lot of these things might not even come into your head. And a smoke control area means that a place that legally you're not allowed to use smoky fuels all the time. So that's basically any big city. Yeah, so let's get on with it. So any stove that you have, you're going to need kindling. So often we will use things like bits of cardboard that we have from eating stuff, or we buy nice big bags of little bits of sticks, or if you got loads of logs you can just chop them up yourself. So that's really good for kindling. Also, and kind of moving on to our next thing, we've just bought a bunch of this birch wood, and the thing that we've been doing is taking off all of the bark, because this bark of a birch tree goes off like a rocket. It's really good kindling. It's honestly some of the best kindling I've ever used. So that's something I would definitely recommend. We're actually keeping it in the box with our fire lighters because we're kind of worried that if we keep it anywhere near the stove and a spark flies, it might just go off. So yeah, basically we just pull it off. This one's coming off super easy, which is very nice. And there you go, nice bit of fire lighter. And that brings me nicely on to our next wonderful fuel, wood. This is obviously very traditional. The logs are great, especially actually these birch ones do smell really nice. So these ones are great because obviously they're nice and dry. Often the problem we have is if we buy logs from garages, they keep all their logs outside and then they get wet, and then what happens is they take about 2 hours to get going and then they go off because suddenly they're dry. Seasoned logs are a dream, but they don't go all night. They burn out, so obviously you have to chucking logs on, so that's not ideal. And in smoke controlled areas you're only really allowed to start your fire with logs, and then after that you have to move on to coal. Every naughty boy's dream for Christmas. I've actually asked for coal for Christmas because we use coal a lot. We use obviously smokeless coal, and again it's really nice if you can keep it dry, but frankly who's got room, so we always keep it on the roof. We have some in here in our little coal bucket mostly, and with coal it's great because you can kind of put it on, and I put it on top of the logs and around the logs, and then it will light up and turn bright red, and it will last a really long time and keep your boat warm for a lot longer than a log would. And then there are also, I don't have one with me, I apologise, things we call emergency logs, and these are logs that are high heat logs. They're made from wood off chippings and some sort of flammable glue, and they're really good. They're wrapped in paper, and so when you put them in your fire you set the paper on fire, and then the log will set on fire and sort of slowly burn itself down, and they work really well, but they smell really bad. So usually we have 1 or 2 of those around in case of an emergency. For instance, us getting home really late and not wanting to spend any time building and nursing the fire. Because basically once you put one in, we just don't want to open the fire because it will just stink out the house with this smell we don't really like. Lots of people love them, and they definitely are a way to have a no fuss fire, but we just personally hate the smell. something I've been wanting to try is to put pine cones into the fire. Apparently that smells delicious. So that's my next trial when it comes to our fire. And yeah, it's really lovely. Like, the fire's been keeping me lovely and warm, although the last few nights we haven't really needed it. I think that our fire is one of my favourite things about living aboard, because I've never had a fire before. The first time I tried to light a fire, it took about 3 hours, and I got very upset with it, but I've slowly learnt the best ways of doing it, and I think it's a beautiful thing. Firelighters. We do use firelighters. So you can get these like chalky firelighters. They're really good. I mean, all firelighters essentially do the same thing, so it's really like, you're never going to get a bad firelighter, I don't think. But we've recently had some that were like a more sort of moist, buttery consistency. They were excellent. And also, we've had one of those sort of internet research stages where we were interested in sort of firelighter replacements. So if you ever run out of firelighters, some good firelighter replacements are Doritos and cotton buds. They're both excellent firelighters. So that's pretty much everything I can say about fuel for a multi-fuel fire. Thank you so much for watching. Please join us again on this narrowboat adventure, and have a nice day. Bye! Oh, comment down below if you know of any other weird things that might make a good firelighter. Okay. Or just tell me nice things, or whatever you want. I'm happy to listen. Okay. Bye!